Hello guys, welcome to the mid lane climbing guide by Gamers Class. This is Shizzy here, and today we're going to be doing Legend from Ancient. I'm going to be watching this Puck, who is Legend 4, play some Dota here. Now, before I go into this, I want you guys to know I've watched a few replays before this. I have found this replay the best to talk about because there's a lot of examples. I've been watching almost every bracket's replays from Herald to Immortal, and I'm going to be talking about the things that you have to do in order to climb MMR, the mistakes that I feel like are being repeated in certain brackets, so you can get out of these certain brackets. And in this particular video, we're going to be talking about the mistakes a legend player does, or things that you can improve on as a legend player. And yeah, let's get right into it.
If you like this type of content, go to gamersclass.com. For just $9.99 a month, watch masterclasses with pro players, join exclusive live sessions, and get 24/7 access to coaches and other high MMR players. Get full control of your ranked games and start owning with our Supreme Dota 2 membership.
So guys, the first and foremost important thing as a mid laner is blocking creeps. Alright, this is something that I've talked about in most of my videos, and it is very important. After you've got a good block, maintaining the creep equilibrium is even more important. So if the creeps are on your high ground, the enemy can literally never trade with you, and if he does, it's a bad situation for the enemy. So it's obviously always good to have a good block and a good creep EQ. Now, the reason why I say creep EQ is so important, now the Puck in this particular scenario did get a good block, but what happens is that he messed up his creep EQ. He should keep his creeps somewhere here, and I feel like this is something that happens a lot in the pubs that I see. And if you notice, the Puck has completely ruined his own game in a certain way. So I see this happening in a lot of Archon and Legend games. If I'm being more specific, getting a good block and then not actually maintaining the creep equilibrium. The way you maintain creep equilibrium is you don't really use spells to farm as much, you don't really push the wave as much until and unless the enemy does. Another way to actually maintain creep EQ is that once you've pushed the lane, you want to go back and you want to actually block the creeps. And let me show you where in this particular game the Puck could have done it. This is actually a pretty good example. So now at this point, right, once the creep wave is pushed here, all right, so tell me, what is the Puck doing right now? The Puck is just standing AFK. What you could do in these kind of scenarios, when the creeps are under the enemy tower, what you want to do is you want to go and block the creeps here, block them. The tower will actually kill the creeps here, and then the creep wave will probably meet somewhere here. But since the Puck really didn't block as much, or didn't start blocking as fast enough, the creep wave was slightly close to the enemy's tower, if you notice. So it's all about efficiency at this point. It's very important to actually maintain creep equilibrium. It's very, very important. I can't really stress it enough. Now, the second thing is buying enough regen and buying it way beforehand. If you don't buy enough regen, you can never trade with the enemy. You can actually never trade with the enemy. And this is another good example as this game goes on. The Puck took a trade, and if you notice, the Voice Bird also did the same mistake. He also did not buy any regen. So you notice it's basically a bracket specific thing. I don't think players in Immortal will take this trade without having salves on them or some kind of regen on them. The White Spirit does have a tango, but more or less it's not that big of a regen or something that's sustainable for him in this lane. So buying more regen is very important. It's very basic at this point. Having at least one salve or mango on you, super important, or even tangos. if you're rushing the bottle and you think you're gonna get fast, that's alright. But just keeping in mind, having regen is very important as you play the mid lane. It also gives you a lot of benefits. Say you have more regen than the enemy does, you can constantly trade with him, and let's say the trade goes in your favor, you just pop yourself, and if the enemy is stupid enough not to buy regen, he will have to back off and he will have to play under pressure, like this puck will play for the next 15 seconds until the salve comes in. So this gives the enemy mid laner a big advantage, and you can actually get this advantage as well if you maintain your regen items on you. So the third thing, guys, I want to talk about is understanding when you've lost your lane and understanding where there is no point of return. Alright, so let's say you got solo killed in the lane. Let's say you're just getting denied a lot. Let's say you're just not having a good lane against the enemy. Do you think that you can actually come back into the lane? Let's say the enemy is one level ahead of you. You have two moves at this point. You either solo kill the enemy, alright, or you go into your jungle and you stack your jungle, or 3, you start rotating more. Now, all these 3 things have to be very precise. You have to think about it, and you have to think about what you can do. Can you solo kill the enemy mid laner? Can you stack and try to outfarm him? Does your hero outfarm and like flash farm jungle? Like if you're a Shadow Fiend or Alchemist, Puck, Storm, these heroes farm really fast. Ember Spirit. It really depends on how much levels you have, how the game's going for you. There's a lot of variables at this point. But what's important to understand is that you need to have a clear objective in the game. So it could be stacking, it could be rotating, it could be solo killing the enemy if you could. So once you've lost the lane, you have to think about another objective or another playstyle as you go into the game. Because if you just stay in a losing lane, you're going to lose it even more, and eventually you're going to lose the game as well, if that makes sense. So you have to come up with another idea. You have to play on a different playstyle to get a different outcome of the game. And how do you actually do this? You think about it. You think about your hero. You think about, okay, so what is my hero good at? Farming fast, pushing waves fast, or killing enemy heroes? Now, as a Puck is the best at killing enemy heroes with the coil. So in this particular scenario, if you're playing Puck, you should go rotate. If you're playing Cop, you should go rotate. If you're playing Ember, it really depends. You could also farm. You could also go rotate. Like I said, it's very game specific, but the main idea is that once you've lost the lane, you have to come up with another plan, and you have to start working on it, and you have to start thinking about it. Once you start thinking about it, your moves will mirror this idea that you have. If you're thinking about rotating, you're actually going to start looking out for the runes, because you want to have a good rune so you get a better rotation out. If you want to stack, then you'll start double stacking. You'll probably farm this camp, then stack this with a spell or something, ask your team to stack, you know. So if you have a clear objective in mind, you will actually start thinking about it, and you'll start working on it. So main thing is having an objective if you lost the lane. Now, another thing I want to talk about is using runes to your advantage. Now, as a mid laner, it is very, very important, guys, to secure runes and using these runes to your advantage. So let's say you're a Puck or a Cop. Arcane rune is completely going to change the course of the game for you, because your spells are already very low cooldown, they do high damage, and if you get even more low cooldown with an Arcane rune, guess what? You're going to own pretty hard. Really, really hard. So the way you want to secure these runes is by, there's a lot of ways you can actually secure a rune. One, harassing the enemy to the point where he just cannot lane you anymore. 2, using spells that are effective on getting a rune. For example, if you're an Ember Spirit, you can actually go and Remnant. Let's say you go to the top rune and you put a Remnant on bottom. So in a way you can get both runes. If one doesn't spawn top, you go bottom. If it doesn't spawn bottom, you go top. Pretty, I guess, pretty standard. So There's a lot of ways to do this on different heroes. Obviously, I cannot mention all of them here, but the idea here is that you need to get runes as a mid laner. If you're not getting runes as a mid laner, your game just seems very dull. And obviously, if you're not getting the runes, that means the enemy mid laner is getting the runes, and he is gonna actually run at you guys instead of, you running at them, if that makes sense. So there's a lot of ways to secure runes. Like I said, pressuring the enemy, pushing the waves, using your spells, calling out a support, putting a ward close to the rune. There's a lot of ways to actually do it. You can also figure your own ways out, but the most important thing that I want to mention is that you actually want to get these runes. You want to play for these runes. You want to give these runes more importance rather than you normally do in your pubs. It's something that I've noticed as I've watched these games, that people don't really give runes a lot of importance, or they actually don't secure these runes as fast enough. So that's how you can secure runes and have an advantage, rotate more, and just overall it gives you a big advantage even if you're not rotating. Arcane, DD, haste, invisibility, illusion, all of these runes are super good, and you want to use them effectively and store them in your bottle. Now in this game is a really good example. This game the puck is very sad because the puck actually got 0 runes almost all game, and that's why the puck's rotations and overall impact on the game was very less. So that's why I felt like I should talk about the runes advantage that you have on a game, and how much it can change a game if you get the right runes at the right time, or if you save the runes for the right time in the bottle. Fifth and the last pointer for this video is basically pushing towers and actually pushing waves at the same time. Now both of these things actually go hand to hand. Now this means that if you push waves faster, you will eventually pressure enemy towers as fast as well. Now the reason why I say it is so important is because it saves you from a lot of things. I've been watching a lot of replays in these brackets below Immortal, and what I noticed is that people actually tend to go for kills more over towers and pushing waves. Now you see, when you go for a kill, it's very risky. It is extremely risky. Why? Because obviously the enemy is either going to run away, he's going to call for backup, or he's going to try to kill you instead so he doesn't die, or you will have to use a lot of resources, use a lot of time. Sometimes you will also not get a kill, and it's just a very risky and uncertain situation that you put yourself in every time you go for a kill, right? But pushing waves and pressuring towers is way easier and almost risk-free if you look at the map. If you look at the map and you push waves, what you're going to do is you're going to get potentially 300 gold from every wave that you push, which is equal to a kill, by the way. And then if nobody really comes to defend the tower, you pressure towers. And if they actually come to pressure a tower, defend the tower that you were pressuring, what you do is you TP and you go to another lane and you start pressuring the creeps over there. Push the creeps, pressure tower, push creeps, pressure tower. And once you've hit your timings, you can run at the enemy. So I feel like this is something that almost every bracket until Divine is lacking, and I'm going to talk about it more as the videos go on, but this is a very strong and important pointer. You should add this into your gameplay, and all the other 5 pointers as well that I've talked about. I'll just go through them over again. Blocking creeps and maintaining equilibrium, having a good regen in the lane, maintaining this regen and understanding when to buy it and how to maintain it. And how you maintain it is obviously mentioned in the video before. Third is using runes to your advantage, how to secure them and what benefits you will get out of it. 4, pressuring enemy towers, and obviously like pushing waves faster at the same time. Both of these things go hand to hand, and I've just made them into a same pointer. So if you do all these things, it's definitely going to help you climb from legend to ancient, without a doubt. Might actually help you go even further, but it is definitely going to improve your gameplay and you will notice it. So give it a try and let me know how it goes for you. I'll be seeing you guys in the next climbing video. Until then, good luck grinding. Shizzy signing out.